What if everything we believed about the peaceful ending of Avengers Endgame was never peaceful at all? What if Steve Rogers' quiet goodbye was actually the moment the multiverse began to rot from within? And what if Marvel's leaked Doomsday opening scene confirms the universe has been doomed since the night Steve chose to stay with Peggy? Imagine watching Endgame again, but this time during Steve's final moments, you notice something that was never supposed to be there: an orange flicker behind him, almost like a fracture in the air. Fans claim the upcoming Ray release hides this in plain sight, teasing a crack that signals someone impossible has been watching him all along. The theory suggests this isn't a cosmic accident, but a deliberate weakness created by Steve removing himself from the timeline where he belonged. In the original film, this moment felt warm, heartfelt, and emotionally complete. But now, Marvel may reframe it as the exact instant the multiverse tilted off balance and an ancient watcher awakened. For years, fans believed Kang, or He Who Remains, kept the timelines intact, but this leak shifts everything toward a darker direction. According to insiders, Doom was already observing the Avengers during Endgame's closing scenes. They claim Marvel subtly planted a reflection of green-tinted armor in the window near Steve as he sits on the bench waiting to hand off the shield. This reflection, if added in a Ray release, would change the meaning of that scene entirely. Instead of Steve enjoying closure, it becomes the first moment Doom appears on screen, silent, patient, and waiting. Not intervening, simply studying the effect of a man rewriting history for his personal happiness, knowing it will eventually tear the multiverse apart. The theory introduces the concept of a terrifying variant known as DoomStark, drawn from an alternate reality where Tony Stark never overcame his fear of losing the world. Instead, he hardened into a tyrant, believing control was the only true path to peace. This Tony merged his genius with Doom's sorcery, forming a hybrid identity of cold logic and unrestrained power. What makes DoomStark horrifying is not just the mask, but what lies beneath it. Rumors suggest his face bears the scars of a failed attempt to create perfect order, offering a twisted echo of the Tony we knew. This emotional connection ensures the eventual confrontation won't be just another villain moment, it'll be a family tragedy on a cosmic scale. The leak claims Marvel plans to show brief flashes of DoomStark's armor reflected in cracks across the timeline, beginning with Steve's home. These are quick, almost subliminal visuals, meant to signal that Doom has been waiting for something bigger than Endgame's victory. He wasn't after Thanos. He was after the collapse created by a hero who retired out of love. Wanda Maximoff's journey worsened the instability Steve accidentally created. Her grief-driven transformation in WandaVision and her desperate search for her children in Multiverse of Madness sent chaos magic ripping through the boundaries of reality. The theory argues these combined disruptions acted as a beacon, telling Doom the universe was finally weak enough to penetrate. One of the most intriguing ideas suggests Wanda's battle against the Darkhold left an imprint on the multiverse that Doom recognized instantly. Chaos magic isn't just powerful, it's unpredictable. DoomStark, obsessed with order and control, would naturally fear and study something so wild. The combination of Steve's fracture and Wanda's chaos opened the door he needed. Loki's role becomes essential in the alleged new post-credit scene. Now, the guardian of the timelines, Loki senses a sudden distortion unlike anything created by Kang's variants. Following the signal, he travels to a quiet cabin in the woods, a place Endgame showed us as Steve's peaceful retirement. But this time, the cabin harbors something ominous. This supposedly leads to a confrontation filled with tension, not action. Loki finds Old Man Steve confused but aware something has been haunting his world. The leak claims Steve feels a presence watching him, especially at night, though he never understood it. For the first time, Loki realizes Steve's decision didn't just break the rules, it broke reality itself. In a chilling twist, DoomStark emerges from a glowing crack in the wall of the cabin. No dramatic entrance, no explosions, just a silent figure stepping out of a fracture, as if reality were a door he casually opened. He tells Steve he is not here to kill him, because death would be a mercy compared to what the multiverse faces. The leak describes DoomStark calmly explaining that Steve's presence in the past created a structural weakness. Doom didn't force the crack into existence. He simply waited for the pressure of countless branching timelines to expose it. He tells Steve that every choice the Avengers made to protect their world ironically doomed it on a multiversal scale. What makes the scene even more unsettling is Loki's reaction. For the first time since becoming the protector of time, he looks genuinely terrified. He realizes this is not a Kang variant or a cosmic being with predictable motives. This is a Doom who believes conquering reality is the only way to preserve it. A villain convinced he is the universe's last hope. Fans speculate Marvel will highlight the emotional weight of Steve seeing a twisted version of Tony's face beneath Doom's armor. It's not the Tony he knew, but the memory of him lingers in the scars. DoomStark claims Tony died because he tried to save the universe, while he himself must now live because he's willing to rule it. What Steve doesn't realize, according to the theory, is that Doom has been watching him since the moment he returned the stones. That final handshake with Sam, once seen as a symbol of legacy, becomes a subtle hint that Doom saw something he could exploit. The crack in reality formed not from malice, but from Steve's desire to live the life he was denied. Marvel is rumored to use scenes like Tony's snap, Wanda's breakdown, Strange's warnings, and Loki's branching timelines as visual callbacks during this new sequence. These references reframe the past decade of films as an interconnected build-up toward Doom's arrival rather than simply Thanos' defeat. Everything the Avengers overcame now feeds Doom's plan. The emotional impact of this revelation would be massive. Fans once believed Endgame concluded the Infinity Saga with harmony and healing. But the idea of those final quiet moments being corrupted by cosmic instability introduces a tragic undertone. The Avengers didn't win, they delayed something far more advanced, patient, and calculating than Thanos. One of the most haunting aspects is the idea that Doom never needed Infinity Stones, armies, or timelines to win. He only needed heroes whose flaws would eventually collapse reality from within. This twist makes the Avengers' greatest emotional decisions, Tony's sacrifice, Steve's retirement, Wanda's grief, feel like breadcrumbs leading Doom directly to them. The theory argues that the Ray release will subtly alter key moments, adding details fans can obsess over for years. For example, when Steve dances with Peggy, a faint shimmering line may appear behind them, suggesting time never fully accepted his presence. Even peaceful scenes might gain a new layer of dread when viewed under this lens. Doom's retreat into the fracture marks the true beginning of Avengers Doomsday. He exits not in fear but in confidence, believing the universe has finally reached the perfect moment for conquest. Loki, shaken by what he witnessed, whispers that he must gather the Avengers again, a chilling echo of Nick Fury's initiative from Phase 1. This would effectively re-establish the Avengers without forcing a dramatic reboot. It allows old characters to return and new heroes to rise, all united by a threat that transcends timelines. Doom's warning to Steve, "Your peace doomed your world," becomes the haunting thesis of the next saga. Marvel may use this moment to connect every Disney Plus series directly to the films. Wanda's chaos, Loki's temporal duties, Strange's multiversal battles, and even minor rifts from What If could all tie into the same singular fracture. The theory even hints that DoomStark was aware of Strange's spell during No Way Home and monitored its ripple effects. This would make Doom the first villain to perceive MCU events as a cohesive sequence rather than individual crises. His intellectual superiority combined with Stark-like precision gives him a terrifying edge. He doesn't want to destroy the universe out of anger but to reshape it into something he believes is sustainable. Fans find the DoomStark concept emotionally devastating because it forces characters like Peter Parker and Rhodey to question their memories of Tony. Even if this variant isn't their Tony, the scarred face beneath the mask carries echoes of the man they loved. This psychological warfare makes Doom's arrival more impactful than any alien invasion. The theory even suggests we may see brief flashes of DoomStark observing earlier MCU battles, New York, Sokovia, Titan, through cracks only he could detect. These retroactive cameos would cement him not as a newcomer, but as a master observer who has been watching the Avengers story unfold like a chess match he quietly controls. Steve's role becomes unexpectedly central again. Instead of retiring into irrelevance, he inadvertently becomes the catalyst for the next multiversal war. Marvel turning his peaceful ending into a tragic fracture adds emotional depth and raises the stakes beyond traditional heroism. It shows that even noble choices carry cosmic consequences. The cabin scene allegedly ends with Steve asking Loki if there's a way to fix the damage. Loki's silence is heartbreaking. He doesn't know. The timeline is bleeding, the crack is widening, and Doom has already stepped through once. It is too late to stop the war, only to prepare for it. Marvel positioning Loki as the bearer of bad news mirrors his growth from villain to protector. His visible fear is what convinces fans that DoomStark may be the most dangerous villain the MCU has ever created. Kang conquered time. Thanos conquered life. DoomStark seeks to conquer existence itself. This sets the stage for an Avengers roster filled with emotional conflict, fractured trust, and desperate alliances. Heroes will not merely fight doom, they will confront the consequences of their past decisions. Every mistake, every sacrifice, every moment they believed was righteous now becomes ammunition for Doom's campaign. Marvel reportedly wants this to feel like Endgame-level stakes, but with a darker philosophical twist. Instead of fighting a tyrant who wipes out life, the Avengers face a ruler who believes saving life requires absolute control. Doom's argument isn't insane, it's logical. That makes him terrifyingly persuasive. When Loki finally gathers his courage, he steps outside the cabin, opens a golden portal, and whispers a single line meant to echo across the multiverse, "Avengers, we need you again." This is the moment the screen cuts to black in the leaked description, marking the beginning of the most ambitious saga Marvel has attempted. The brilliance of this theory lies in how it transforms Endgame's ending. Instead of erasing its emotional impact, it reframes it with a tragic edge. Steve didn't make a selfish choice. He made a human one. And in doing so, he reminded the universe that even heroes are vulnerable to desire, regret, and longing. Marvel using this release to insert Doom directly into Endgame would unite the old and new MCU eras seamlessly. Fans who once felt disconnected from the multiverse storylines would instantly be re-engaged. Doom becoming the shadow behind the final Infinity Saga moments elevates him to a mythic antagonist. DoomStark's presence challenges every hero's belief system. How do they face someone who carries Tony's voice, Tony's innovation, and a twisted version of Tony's pain? The emotional weight of this encounter ensures Doomsday won't be just another battle, it will be a confrontation with the legacy of Iron Man himself. The multiversal fracture becoming the central conflict gives Marvel endless storytelling opportunities. Variants, timelines, forgotten histories, and alternate futures now collide with terrifying consequences. Doom watching these collapses unfold makes him feel omnipresent, as if he's been manipulating events from the shadows since the MCU began. As the theory concludes, Steve is left alone in the cabin, realizing the life he chose brought the universe to the brink. It doesn't erase his happiness with Peggy, it complicates it. Marvel turning this emotional corner deepens his character rather than undoing his legacy. This is the price of being human in a cosmic world. The leak claims the ending shifts to Loki racing through a collapsing time stream, screaming for help as Doom's crack spreads behind him like burning veins. The scene ends on a cliffhanger, not with a battle, but with fear, pure, cold fear that even Loki cannot contain what is coming. If true, this would mark the most shocking Marvel post-credits scene since Thanos first turned his head toward the camera. It would signal the start of a multiversal war that spans realities, histories, and destinies. And at the center of it all stands DoomStark, believing conquest is the only salvation. This rumored opening scene could redefine the MCU's future, linking past emotional moments with new cosmic threats. Fans would revisit Endgame with fresh eyes, searching for clues they never realized were foreshadowing Doom's arrival. Marvel understands nostalgia is powerful, using it to introduce terror is genius. As we wait for confirmation, one thing becomes clear: if Marvel truly rewrites Endgame's ending to reveal Doom's silent presence, the stakes for Avengers Doomsday become monumental. The battle won't be about victory. It will be about survival against a villain who already understands how the story ends. If this theory turns out to be real, the MCU is about to change forever. And the peaceful cabin that once represented Steve's happy ending may soon be remembered as the birthplace of the universe's greatest doom. A fracture, a visitor, and a warning: this is how the next great saga begins. And if you want more deep dive Marvel theories, shocking leaks, and doomsday breakdowns, make sure you stay locked into the channel. Hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and join the multiverse conversation. The biggest war in Marvel history is coming, and you won't want to miss what's next.